Hey guys, welcome to this tutorial, strings in JavaScript. Please, if you have not yet subscribed, go back and subscribe. And then let's talk about strings in JavaScript. So what is a string? A string is a type of variable that stores a string, that is a chain of characters. It could be a sentence, a name, and so on. So the basic use of strings. So to make a new string, you can make a variable and give it a value of a new string. So say like this. Equals to new string. Yeah. And then, but most developers keep that part and use a string literals. So that is something like this. I'll just call it 1 and then just give it directly the string. So let's go ahead and print that with our document dot write as we saw in the previous tutorial, and then let's just display this one. Okay, again, as you saw, you see I've linked my index.html, index.js in my index.html file, and the browser sync is up running, so everything is fine. So as we described in the previous tutorial. So as we go ahead, you see the string that is actually printed out in our browser. So this is one way that most common developer use to actually create a string, that is string literals hard coded, that is we directly assign it to the thing. So after you have made your string, you can edit it as you like. So let me just change this name, but again this first one, method of doing this, you see that it prints exactly the same thing. So you can either create it like this, which is advisable, but of course there's no problem to do it directly like this, so no problem. So it's your choice. And then let's go ahead. So if you declare a new string, say something like this, or let's just call it bar, why not? Let's go ahead and print it. As you can see, it shows that in our browser, but you can change it. So say for example, I can later on, of course, so now you can see foo equals to bar brush, and then just save the changes and go into, you see that we have that there. So that's how it is. So you can change as many times as you want. So but the concept behind the changing, that's the memory, how it actually happened in memory, is beyond the scope of this module. We may discover it in the upcoming module. So a string literal is normally delimited by the one quote or double quote character, as you can see there. So you can either put one quote or two. It does not actually matter that, so it's your choice, but so, and can normally contain almost any character. So common convention differs on whether to use single quotes or double quotes for strings. Some developers are for single quotes, while others are for double quotes. So whichever method you choose, try to be consistent in how you apply it. So due to the delimiters, it is not possible to directly place either the single or double quote within the string when it's used the start, or the end the string. So in order to work around that limitation, you can either switch to the other type of delimiter for that case, or place a black slash before the quote to ensure that it appears within the string. So what does that mean exactly? So that means if you want to, like, I don't know, for some reason you may want to display the double quote itself. As you can see there, let me just say, okay, I want to display this. You see there that there's an error. It directly showed an error, unexpected this, because there's actually 3 and it does not actually know how to manage that. So to escape that, you just put a backslash. As you see now, everything is okay. So that means this slash will actually be displayed too. So let's go ahead and see what it shows in our browser. As you can see, the slash, the double quotes is also displayed. So that's how you can display those special characters. But if you put single quote, since you don't need to escape it because you are in double quotes, so it does not care about that. So everything will just be fine. And then as you can see there, so that's how. But of course, if you are in single quote mode, you see that directly an error occurs, and then to escape that, just do the backslash, and then everything just works fine. Then there are some properties of and methods of the string object. As with all objects, strings have some methods and properties. We have the concat. The concat function joins two strings. So for example, let me say name equals to Peter, and then declare another variable called surname equals to Joel. Now I can concatenate these two strings to make one. Let me just say a result of the concatenation equals to, you choose one variable. Let me just choose name dot concat. So first of all, to do that, remember that you need to declare that as a new string, as we saw previously. So that's how you can do that. So now, but of course you can even also do it as there's no problem. Then what we pass into parameter is another string to be concatenated with this first one. So let's go ahead and see what this result actually render in our browser. You see Peter Joel. So finally, the final version is Peter Joel, as you can see in our web browser. So that's how our concatenate method works for strings. So we take first of all the first parameters. So and then display and then concatenate, use the dot concat from the base string to be concatenated with, as you can see. So it actually concatenates. So this name, as you can see there, is actually the first one that's going to be displayed, as you can see there. And then dot concat, you pass an argument which is actually a string. You can even put hard-coded strings. That means you can just put something like, I don't know, John. Why not? And then it will display that in our web browser, Peter John. That's fine. So that's how it is. So it concatenates it and return to this result. But of course, we can even directly pass it here. That is concatenate it and then just display it directly while everything is just concatenated. That will be fine. So it's also possible. So that's how the concat method actually works. So we have also the length method. The length method actually returns the length of the given strings. So let us say this short name, I want to know the length, that's the number of characters for this one. Then you just use the length short name dot length, and then that will return you the number of characters that method is actually. So as if you count z1 2 3 4, that's what the length method actually returns. So it returns the first occurrence of a string inside itself, starting with 0. If the search of a string cannot be found, then -1. So this method actually, if there's no string, it will return the -1, and then you can manage your code according to that return value. So the index of method is case here. Now we have the index of method. So returns the first occurrence of a string inside itself, starting with 0. So if such string cannot be found, it returns -1 is returned. So the index of method is case sensitive. So let's go ahead and see what it actually shows. So for example, let's just put a space and let's just put G, and then short name dot index of, let's just put G. Let's go ahead and see what it prints in our browser. We see it actually returns 5. What does that mean? G, so it goes through these short name strings and look for the first occurrence of G, which is actually here at the 5th position, which starting from 0 0 1 2 3 4 5. So that's what it actually returns, the first occurrence. So, and we said that it's case sensitive. So if you put D here and instead trying to looking for D small, you said that it returns -1 because it's case sensitive. Let's go ahead and put a D again further. It will only return the position of the first one, that's the first occurrence. So that's how the index of method actually works. So we have the last index of. returns the last occurrence of a string, last index of. So last index of actually returns the last index of a given strings, as you can see here, 8, which is actually the position of this one. So of course the white spaces are also counted. So here we have 2 white spaces, so this count. We count the white spaces, so please be very careful. So we also have the replace method. So the replace function returns a string with a content replaced. So let me just say I want to change this name to be like, let's just say I want to replace my new this thing show name with another name. So what I'm going to do is just something like a replace what that string contains, that is Joel, and then the second argument is the value to that we are going to want to replace with. So let me just put Mary, and let's go ahead and try to see what it actually prints in our browser. You see that it returns the Mary. So that's how the replace method actually works. So as you can see, the replace function only returns the new content and does not modify the that is the previous one. So this one, so it only returns. So if now we print the show name, you obviously return this one. You just replace and return that we can also assign to a variable. So we have the slice. So the slice extracts characters from the start position and then just return it. So we also have the slice, and then from where are we going to extract characters, and then it returns that, as we can see there, it just returns something. That means because we said that start at position 1 and just return the remaining characters. So this is at position, this J is at position 0, and then this 0 is at position 1. So it starts from there and returns that entire string. So that's how that method actually works. We have the subtract. So the substring or substr extracts characters from start position, essentially the same as slice. So it's basically the same as slice. We have the substring. Substring extracts characters from start position. So it's basically almost the same, and we can also apply the end, that is where to end up extracting or something like that. So the substring, that is subtract string starting from 1 and then end up, I don't know, position 3, and then that'll be fine. So you see that it's done that, extract from position 1 and end up this position 3. So it did not take that last character. So that's how that method actually works. You also have the to lowercase, which actually transform everything to lowercase. So we have to lowercase. So let me just assume that this name was actually all in capital. You see that it actually returns that now in lowercase characters. So that's how the lowercase actually works. So it takes a As you can see, it applies to a particular string and then convert that into and returns, of course, a lowercase character. So let's now strings. So let's now assume that this name is in lowercase, and then we also have, of course, the opposite, that is uppercase or local uppercase. So you see that it now work like this. So that's how it actually works. So you can either write to local or to uppercase directly, or to lowercase or to local lowercase. So there's no problem. So that's how it actually works. So I hope guys you enjoy this tutorial, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Please like, share and subscribe, comment also. Thank you for watching guys, and see you next. Bye.